Out of Spec Reviews video. If you are an avid watcher of the channel, you know we just moved to Colorado. And so what I want to do is explore the Front Range. And what better vehicle to explore the Front Range out on some trails in the mountains than the 2020 Land Rover Defender. This is the new 110. This one is a P400 SE. However, our editor Liam thinks he brought a better vehicle for overlanding. He's totally wrong, but here it is.
As you know from our previous video, I am a Land Cruiser guy through and through. I actually own two of them myself. Now, for today, I have brought the 2021 Heritage Edition 200 Series Land Cruiser, actually the last Land Cruiser that they will be bringing to the United States. It may not have quite as much off-road stuff as Kyle, but I'm not sure he's gonna make it through the trail the whole way with it being a British SUV.
Oh, come on, come on. This thing's got a warranty. It's brand new. It's only got 4,600 miles. There's no way it can break, right? According to our friends at TFL, that's not correct.
And say it's 2021, Kyle. Crazier things have happened. So let's get into it and see what we can find.
Before we head out on the trails, I need to talk about the spec on my Defender, and it is the correct choice, and I will prove that by the end of this video. First off, we have the off-roading tires. There's a $350 option. They're Goodyear Wranglers. Pretty good AT tire, good in the mud, good in dirt, just like the stuff that we're going to be on today. We might find a little snow, ice. I see some clouds rolling in as well. I don't know, we might get some weather, but this is the vehicle I want to be in. This one is the P400, which means it has an inline six. Let me show you. Under here, we have the inline six, 395-ish horsepower. It's called the P400 because it's 400 brake horsepower, 400 PS, about 406 pound-feet of torque. Mild hybrid, which is pretty interesting. It means the starter motor runs off of a belt-driven system. So when you do auto start stop, you don't hear like a starter motor kick on. That's pretty neat. Also encourages me to keep the system on more. We're not going to be using much of that off-road today. It's also the mild hybrid, which means it has an electric supercharger that feeds the turbo. It's basically a turbocharger with a motor on the back of it, and it can spin to like 22,000 RPM and like instantly. Pretty insane. And I'm out of breath because we're at like 10,000 feet of altitude. We already talked about the P400, but this one is the SE, which is the entry-level model in the Defender 110 for the US market. You can see this massive rear door. The thing I like about the SE is it's sort of like the entry-level model. Also, parked on a hill, this door doesn't seem to want to stay open. Nope. So there, we found one issue with the Defender. I'm sure there is a way to lock it. Yeah, I think if you just let it, nope, never mind. Anyway, plenty of cargo capacity. You know, the thing that I like about the Defenders are all of the floor is super hardy. You can hose out the interior. It's made of rubber. This is sort of this plastic material. Under here, you get a little extra storage. I can even raise and lower the suspension with a touch of this button here, so I can get my dogs in and out easier. How neat is that? And then I can raise it back up. It's actually pretty strong, pretty cool. This one's the 5-seat configuration. You can go 5, 6, or 7 seats, which is really neat. The 6 seat's kind of cool because the whole front of the car turns into the bench. But let me show you inside. Also, this one's spec'd with all the off-roady stuff. So it has all-terrain progress control, terrain response, of course, adaptive suspension, the height leveling, that's standard. And it's got the standard black interior. So kind of like a everything you want for this challenge, but nothing you don't need. It's 71 grand. So just in terms of pricing, you know, this one has the driver assist pack, which is all the adaptive cruise control stop and go. No lane centering, it just pushes you back in if you hit the end of the lane. It has the advanced off-road capability pack, cold climate pack, off-road pack, comfort and convenient pack, white contrast roof. You gotta have the white roof. Unfortunately, only available on the base trim is the white roof. If you get a Defender X SE or HSE or a full Defender X, you have to get body color or black. I don't like that. Defenders are supposed to have white roofs. This one's in Tasman blue, has the tow hitch receiver, Sirius XM, 14-way heated seats, 71,025.
So my Land Cruiser Heritage Edition is a commemorative edition of the original one. It marks the 63rd anniversary of the Land Cruiser, which would be a very odd thing to call the 63. anniversary edition, so they went with the Heritage Edition. Let me show you a couple things that make this unique apart from the regular Land Cruiser. You have bespoke 18-inch alloy BBS wheels, a nice little touch wrapped in Dunlop that says that they're all-terrain tires, but I think they probably err more on the side of an all-season tire. You have no running boards to give you a little bit more off-road clearance. That's nice when you're doing trails and light overland stuff. Yakima Monster rack, you can put your luggage up there, a bunch of other stuff. You can't really see it, but the Heritage Edition has 4 additional skid plates underneath of the vehicle to protect the components from rocks, debris, things like that that you regularly encounter on a trail. Now, Kyle's Defender has a lot of trick, air pneumatic suspension, things like that, raise, lower the ride height. You just have a conventional damper setup on this Land Cruiser, which the way I see it is one less thing to break or worry about having go wrong in an off-road situation. And if you want to upgrade it, it's a Land Cruiser. There's plenty of upgradable options. Come around here to the front. The Land Cruiser's power plant is the stable workhorse that you find in the Tundra and everything else. It's the 3UR iForce 5.7 liter dual overhead cam V8. Doesn't make quite as much power as Kyle's inline 6, but the fact that you see these on road with 200, 300,000 miles, I'm gonna take my 20 less horsepower for V8 reliability and torque.
I gotta jut in here because it's not just 20 less horsepower. We're up here at 10,000 feet of altitude. You're breathing almost no air up here.
Yeah,
I mean, I can barely breathe.
I am a little bit closer to 300 brake horsepower.
Two words. Forced induction right here. Even though my power is 390 something, I have more. I have way more up here just because I can stuff all that air in.
I'm gonna argue in crawling situations, I'm gonna rather have the V8 low end going over obstacles every single
Yeah, well, you know, that's an interesting point because I've noticed even just driving the Defender up here, I've driven it less than 100 miles so far, the throttle's really hard to modulate around town. You kind of get into it, nothing, and then boost comes on, and then,
hard.
It's very lumpy power, where this, I've driven quite a bit, super smooth power delivery. So that'll be interesting off-road. You have crawl control, which will, you know, crawl itself up stuff automatically. I have all-terrain progress control, so we'll see which, you know, self-driving off-road system
works a little bit better.
All right, sorry to interrupt your segment. Keep going.
Come on, show you some of the trick interior stuff for off-roading. So, Toyota stopped offering a mechanical differential on the Land Cruiser in 2000 with the 100 series, as you saw with mine in the previous video. Step in here, and you have all of your low-high control here. You still have the option to center lock, which is nice. You have your active turning system, which will actually lock the inside rear wheel, so in tight situations, you can almost crab walk like a tank to get around trees, obstacles, things like that. Nice little touch. You have crawl control, downhill assist, on, off. There is still a ton of electronic goodies, but it's almost like Toyota didn't over-engineer this because they know these things are going to be on the road for 20, 30 years, and it's just one less thing that the new owner has to replace that won't break. Something that cannot be said about Kyle's Defender. Shh, don't tell him. Now, Kyle's Defender has an awesome little swing-out tailgate that doesn't want to stay up in any kind of hill situations, which when you're four-wheel driving happens all the time. Land Cruiser has the classic split tailgate system. You can eat food, hang out with your friends, take pictures, you can bird watch, take in the scenery, do just about anything, and it won't swing down and hit you. Plenty of cargo space, same rubberized floor matting that Kyle's Defender has. You don't need to worry about getting it dirty. Super easy to just take out and spray down, not an issue at all. I think this thing's gonna surprise him a little bit.
I know Liam just tried to make his trunk look better than mine, but look at how slow this thing is to open. Just watch. It is the slowest tailgate in all of history. I mean, that's just ridiculous. Also, this doesn't unlatch immediately once you pull it. There's like a half a second delay. And then it's not like an X5 where you can like auto close the bottom portion. It just says, no, you have to like a plebeian. Oh, close this, you know, manually. Then you push this button and then you gotta wait 5 minutes to take off. So kids, load up in the car. Let's wait for the trunk to close.
All right, so I have the Land Cruiser right now in 4 low. I also have the center diff locked. So you go down here, put it in neutral. Press this button to lock the center differential. That'll illuminate on the screen. You're given an indication that it is locked. Then you can go down here to this button right here. This lets you select what mode you want to be in. It's really just what terrain you're on. So we are on rock and dirt, which is perfect. We're in rock and dirt mode. set that back, and we're just gonna let the truck do the rest of the work. A couple little things about trail etiquette while you're out here. If you ever have traffic coming at you and you're more than just by yourself, you're in a group, pull off to the side, kind of signal out the window, and then let them know how many people you have in your group. That way nobody runs up on you, or somebody comes around a corner and you're not able to stop. You can avoid a collision and people getting hurt. Safety is of the utmost importance when we're out here doing this, especially in remote areas where we might not have service, and emergency services may take a long time to show up should something happen.
So, all right, we're gonna try and go up this rock. So I'm gonna select terrain response. We're gonna go into rock crawl. So everything's there. The diffs are locked. We're gonna put in manual first. And up we go. This is pretty freaking neat, isn't it? Guys, well, I think we all know the Defender's a little bit more capable at this rock crawling stuff. Mainly that's just due to approach, departure angle, and suspension height. You can see I walked up this pretty steep hill. The only problem is when I get up here, it's going to bottom out, and since this is a pressed vehicle, I don't want to damage the underside. If it was mine, I'd go wide open throttle right up this thing. So definitely, I'm sure we could get it up there, maybe with a couple scrapes under the car. We're not going to, we'll back it down. But it just goes to show you that Liam couldn't even get the Land Cruiser up that little rock right there without the bumper touching. So in terms of overlanding, we still have yet to see, but we know in terms of raw off-roading, this Defender, I don't want to stand behind it in case it slips, this Defender is definitely the king of this kind of stuff. But of course, this is more of an overlanding adventure. We're going out on some of these light trails. I just wanted to see what this thing can do in rock crawl mode. It can do a lot.
All right, so we are about to start our last little ascent on Ironclad's trail. It is a rocky little climb up to a terrific little obstacle. It is a nice rock shelf that we are going to see if either of these vehicles can make it up. I am not super confident that they can, but we will get into it here in a second and see if we can't beat some odds. Kyle's got 20 bucks to me if I can make it up, and I've got 5 bucks to him if he can make it up and I can't. So let's try to make some money.
Now that we finished up a little bit of fun with that slight rock crawl, nothing too adventurous, let's go back into grass, gravel, snow. No, we don't need low traction launch. I am going to keep it in low range though. I just like the control of having those gearing down low. I feel like it takes a lot of stress off the torque converter, keeping the engine out of boost because it's not having to just work at low RPM. So yeah, low range. And also interesting, when it shifts in low range, unlike my older Range Rover, that you'd really feel like the 1, 2, 3 shift to go boom, boom. This just drives like it's a normal drive. It's pretty amazing how smooth that low range box is. Another cool thing is too, when you go into this 4x4 setting, I'm just going to lift a wheel here. It'll show you what wheel starts slipping. So it gives you this little, see that little orange arrows? That tells you what wheel is actually giving it or losing traction. You can see it on the way back down too. We also have our diffs locked right now. Super neat how that works. I love all the off-roading technology. I really love specifically this camera mode. So I can go over here to the cameras and I can select off-road and select this button, and then I can see literally what's underneath the car. So if I kind of forget, if I'm over a rock or I want to know what's going on, I can literally see underneath the car. It's so freaking neat. I love all this technology. So check out the turning radius on the Defender. You can see I'm at full lock right now. It's opened up the rear and center diffs to let the wheels spin, and look, it's just turns and turns and turns, so much so that I don't even need to go full lock. So it has quite a long steering ratio. You know, it's 1, 2.5 turns, maybe a little bit more lock to lock, but super light steering. I mean, look, one finger in it, no problem, which is great for off-roading. It also, I felt no feedback from the front tires yet. So like sometimes when you get into a rut, it can like pull the wheel. I haven't experienced that yet. Also, we haven't done like super deep, serious off-roading yet, but thumbs on the outside of the wheel. I know that much at least. And you can just like go up these little things and get some sideways angle on the Defender, which is super neat and fun. So absolutely just love all of the things you can do with this. And yeah, the turning radius is neat. Now the Land Cruiser has a feature where it will lock the inside rear wheel to decrease the turning radius, but you have to use it with crawl control, and it's okay. Certainly decreases the radius massively, but you know, you could have just put a more aggressive steering rack on there to start with.
All right, so we are going to attempt Ironclad's, one of the best trails off of Bunce School Road on the Front Range between Boulder. It's a little bit west of Lyons. It is Forest Road number 216. If you're trying to look it up, it is generally open year-round. Can get a little bit impassable if there's a ton of snow, but for the most part, it's a beautiful trail to come check out. You don't need to be super lifted, 35s, anything like that. And for the rough obstacles, there are bypass tracks if you don't want to try breaking your ride or anything like that. So let's get into it.
All right, guys, we have a really mild rocky section here, so I've dialed up rock crawl and the terrain response. I'm actually going to try the all-terrain progress control. I'm going to try to see how the car does it. So I click this little button on the dash and I use the cruise control to select the speed. I'll put it to like 2 or 3 miles an hour, and we'll see if the Defender can crawl itself up this all on its own. Let's find out. Into drive. So for just this little bit, I tried, you gonna fall over there, buddy? Just that little bit there, I tried all-terrain progress control. I set it to about 1 or 1.5 miles an hour. It doesn't actually show me a speed on here, but I can go up to about 18 miles an hour, it shows. It did a pretty good job. The one thing that I didn't like about it though is I like to have full control over these steep rocks. So cool to try out, but I think I'm gonna be going manual control for now. And I think Liam's about to go take a little bit more of an aggressive path here.
So this is a really good obstacle that can highlight the Land Cruiser's advanced A-Track system. It uses wheel speed sensors at all 4 corners to more or less act like a mechanical locker. It works really well in crawling situations like this. So I don't think I can take the gnarly line here, especially in a press vehicle. I'm not going to try to do that, but I think I can sneak up that slightly less difficult line on the left, and we can let A-Track do most of the work for us. Let's see how it goes.
good. Yeah, no. Center on straight.
One interesting thing that I just found out is that to get the 200 to actually use A-Track and simulate a locker scenario, you have got to hit the skinny pedal and you've got to hit it hard. But once you do that, it'll slowly figure out what's going on and walk you up that obstacle. So,
Defender with a locking rear diff and good off-roading technology.
last I checked, you took the easy line through there.
I saw you were like a 0.5 millimeter away from that tree, and I'm like, let's not damage 2 press vehicles, even though we didn't damage that, thankfully. But it was pretty close.
I got it. No worries.
Yeah, we're good. All right, nice. Looks like the Land Cruiser made it up. Traction wasn't an issue. I actually thought it'd be slipperier than it was. It's kind of cold. This is like half ice. You can see all the snow in the rocks here. But definitely ground clearance issue a little bit on that rock. Good thing the Heritage Edition has all those skid plates.
Yeah, it's got 4 extra skid plates to save your rear end in situations as such.
Yeah, so that was fine. I think the Defender should have no problem. I definitely looked good lifting a wheel coming over here.
It did
So,
pop a tire up.
yeah,
Nice.
and
you don't have a solid rear axle, so you will be lifting no wheels like that.
I'm going to try and lift a wheel as high as possible. Watch and learn, all right?
Goes through the terrain and gets caught on camera.
So we are coming up to the main obstacle of Ironclads. It has an awesome rock step that is a really difficult climb. We're gonna go up this little hill right here for maybe 1/8 of a mile, and then we will get to the obstacle and we will see what vehicles, if any, I'm not even super sure this thing will get up it, can do the job. So Let's go.
I don't know. I think this thing can climb just about anything.
Well,
And it's like a mountain goat.
You haven't seen it.
It hasn't even worked hard once today.
Should we place a little bet?
All right, $5. I can get up, and you can't.
$5? That's so weak.
My Vegas odds.
I don't know what the obstacle is.
My Vegas odds are not good on that, but I'll say you give me $20 if I can get up it. $5 if you can get up it.
All right, without any damage.
Without any damage.
Because I'm sure you can get up there. But they're not our cars.
Right.
All right, let's do it.
See what happens. As you can see here, there's some rocks at the base of this obstacle. I put those there. It's a practice called trail building. If you don't want to have damage to your vehicle due to ground clearance, or you're just worried about a tire slipping, it's common practice to just put some rocks there, build up the obstacle a little bit, and you can get over it with more ease and less anxiety about damaging your ride.
All right, here we go. This is definitely the most difficult off-roading obstacle I've ever had to tackle. I have my cameras all around the car, which is so nice. Actually, come on in here. Let me show you this, because you can see I'm working with just an inch on the right side of this tree over here, and you can see I have a really good idea of what my right wheel's doing. So all of that camera stuff is actually super, super helpful. And got it in rock crawl mode, and I'm just gonna crawl my way up here. Got it locked in manual first gear. I'm gonna turn all the progress control stuff off. I want full control over this stuff. Oh my God, it's like nothing when the dips are on. Freaking tank. The Defender didn't even get a hint of wheel slip. I love locking dips. That is so neat. I think we just finished the most aggressive obstacle of this trail. What a nice trail this is. Super easy. You know, it's not like we're doing anything that's going to damage the cars, but we're having fun. We're exploring beautiful Colorado. The views are absolutely insane. Hopefully you've seen some of the drone footage we've shot. It's really nice. We're going to finish off this trail. We're nearby. Head down and go find some more places to explore. But so far, both of these vehicles are super capable, and they're doing exactly what they're built for. They're getting you out in the environment and getting you to explore new places. I'm loving it. Okay, so to do the Land Cruiser's trick turn radius feature, throw it into neutral down here, push this down, go into 4 low. Okay, we are there. And then you click crawl control. Right here, we're gonna set that to rock and dirt. And then you press this little button right here, turn assist, not available, activate crawl control. This one? Okay. There we go. Crawl control not available, select. Okay, gotta go to drive. Okay, do that. Crawl control. To set up the turn assist mode on the Heritage Edition Land Cruiser, low range, crawl control, set it to whatever. Turn it on with this button right here, and then you press this right here, and it locks the inside wheel. The important thing to note about this knob too is not only does this tell the car what kind of terrain you're on, but the same knob also chooses the speed for crawl control, which is kind of annoying. I don't really like that.
Not a fan.
Not a fan of that. All right, but take a look at how cool this feature is. So what the Land Cruiser is doing is it's locking this particular brake. It has the diffs open, and what it's doing is it's pulling the front end of the car around, and it lets up every little while so it doesn't damage your tires. Well, guys, gotta say, we finished up a day out on the trails. You can see the snowflakes are getting real thick. It was an absolute blast taking the perfect off-roader overlander on a tour of the Front Range Mountains. You know, these are trails I've never been on before. We're new to Colorado. I couldn't think of a better vehicle to do my first off-roading in Colorado with. Absolutely amazing. I think it was never pushed to the limits. I think it was great to get some wheels in the air, watch the diff locks work. That terrain response just makes off-roading so easy, doesn't it? So neat. Love the ground clearance, really tons of articulation when needed, but also not as much as the Land Cruiser, because I was getting some wheels off in the air where that vehicle wasn't. But gotta say, I think I brought the right vehicle, and also it's 20 grand less and has way more tech than your old school mobile over here.
I hope you caught that eye roll. Kyle thinks this is the perfect overland vehicle, and he is wrong. The number one thing you want with an overland vehicle is reliability. When you're out in remote locations, you do not want your vehicle to break down. And that is why there are so many Land Cruisers that are at 300, 400, even 500,000 miles, and rarely do you see anything by Land Rover with the same mileage. Now, I will admit his vehicle is extremely capable. Equipped with the mud terrain tires from the factory, it does have a little bit more capability to get over certain obstacles. But as I showed with this, the Land Cruiser with the right line, like I said earlier, and a little bit of finesse, is 99% capable of getting over the same kind of stuff. A little bit of patience, not too much attention to the skinny pedal, and you will be just fine. Given the two for overlanding, I'm gonna take the Land Cruiser every single time.
Yeah, and I'd go Defender every time, so I think that leaves us with a tie. I think both vehicles win. You know, I still love the Land Cruiser, no question.
Absolutely.
I just think for 90 grand, I'd rather spec one of these out. I think my perfect Defender X HSE is like $81,000, $82,000 the way I'd want it. And it has way more than this does. You know, not only do these cars have to be good out on the trails, they have to be comfortable on the way to the trails, right? And I just think this is so much more sophisticated with extra safety tech and another level of driving dynamics. And I love, love, love this straight six. Not fan of the calibration. You can't beat this thing though for just a sure. It's a brute, right?
It's a
you
brute.
just get in, go, pedal
Agricultural.
through. Yeah,
absolutely. I do have a couple gripes about it. Like I said, I wish it came with mechanical lockers. That's just a nice feature to have. My biggest gripe is that I wish the Heritage Edition in particular came with either all-terrain or mud-terrain tires from the factory. If this vehicle came equipped with 33-inch tires, it'd be perfect. And at that point, it would be about as capable as the Defender. So that's the main thing holding it back right now. But it's a Land Cruiser. There's plenty of aftermarket. This chassis has been the same for, going on 13 years now. So if you want to upgrade the suspension, you can do it. There's tons of parts on the shelf. Plenty of forums to figure out what tires fit. It's not a big deal. But at $91,000, you're already spending a lot of cash, plus cash on top of it to get it to that point. So
maybe the answer is a used Land Cruiser. Maybe you get like a 2016 for like 55, 60 or whatever they're going for.
I mean, at that point.
And then just upgrade it to this.
Why not just pay $4,500
well,
for the cheapest
go back and watch our other off-roading
video
where we compared this to the $4,500 cheapest 100 series for sale that Liam purchased.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think this wrap-up's taking for a while. We love both cars. Buy both of them if you can, and go have fun in the wilderness.
You won't be disappointed either way.